Welcome to another adventure with Getting Lost. Today, we are actually at the entrance of Fort Canning Park, and for the last 3 episodes, we have been exploring Fort Canning Park. But this time, we'll not be going back up there, but what we'll be doing instead is we'll be going around the park to explore some of the buildings that have been around for a long time and has a lot of history to them. So let's get going and let's get exploring. As you can see now, we are actually walking across the river on Coleman Bridge. And the first place we're going to visit is opposite the river here, which is this building here, which is the Old Hill Street Police Station. The Old Hill Street Police Station is a 6-story building covering a total floor area of 25,000 square meters. It was built in a typical neoclassical style that characterizes many public buildings in England during the 1930s. The facade is symmetrically designed with balconies, arcades, columns, and rough surface masonry blocks. The building is structured into long thin blocks that surround 2 internal courtyards. Outwards, the view from each room faces the street, and inwards the courtyards. So the Old Hill Street Police Station is a colonial landmark located at the junction of River Valley Road and Hill Street, and it was officially opened in 1934. And at that time, it was the largest government building in Singapore. It was due to the increase in the Chinese secret society activities in Singapore during that time. And so, this building was designed by Frank Dorrington Ward, who was then the chief architect of the Public Works Department. And it occupied the site of Singapore's first prison and the old assembly rooms of the town halls. It became the second police station in the pre-war years, other than Pearl Hill Police Station, to have living quarters for police personnel. It was officially opened in 1934, and it housed a police station with a charge room, offices, and garage. It also had quarters for 140 married men, 180 single policemen, 10 sub-inspectors, as well as apartments for 5 Asian and 4 European inspectors. This building you see here is the Hill Street Fire Station, or Central Fire Station. And this tower you see over here is called a lookout tower. This lookout tower was actually the tallest tower in Singapore until the 1930s, and it was used to spot smoke from fires from around this area, all around this area here. So from that vantage point, the firemen could see where the fire was and send out the firemen to the location. So this building itself is Singapore's oldest surviving fire station. It was completed in 1909 and is still an active station. As you can see, this building itself has a few features, which I would point out to you first of all earlier was the lookout tower. Other than that, another interesting feature of the building itself is its distinctive red and white brick facade. This red and white brick building itself was nicknamed Blood and Bandage blood, referring to the exposed red brick of the facade, and bandage was the brick covering with a plaster and painted white. This was actually a popular style in Edwardian England in the earlier 20th century. As you can see from the building itself, this building still provides lodging and training services for the firemen, and this place is actually still an active fire station. And in this building itself, there's also a civil defense heritage gallery which showcases the firefighting history of Singapore, which is open to the public and you can visit. The Masonic Hall is located near the Central Fire Station at the foot of Fort Canning Hill. It is actually the first and oldest Freemason lodge in Singapore, and it was consecrated on 26 February 1845. The building itself was built as a single-story building with a second story added in 1888. The building remained largely intact, and therefore until a major renovation was scheduled starting around 1910, during which the old porch was torn down and the entire frontage to Coleman Street rebuilt. So the building is still actively in use and houses the Masonic lodges and other Masonic bodies and the Masonic Club in Singapore. The building's basement houses the Masonic Library and offices, while the ground floor is occupied by a kitchen, restaurant and bar. The second floor of the building, known as the Temple, has various rooms used for Masonic meetings and ceremonies. The Singapore Philatelic Museum is a museum about the postal history of Singapore and its stamps. The museum is just beside the Masonic Lodge, which is at the bottom of the hill of Fort Canning Hill. This building was actually formerly part of the Anglo-Chinese School and was completed in 1906. Now, as the Singapore Philatelic Museum, it promotes the interest in and appreciation of Singapore's history and heritage in philately. Besides the permanent galleries, there are also theme galleries that offer a host of changing exhibitions throughout the year. This includes displays from private collections, travelling exhibitions from overseas, and theme exhibitions to commemorate new stamps. The museum has a stamp shop and is popular with stamp collectors. The Armenian Apostolic Church of St. Gregory the Illuminator is located on Hill Street. It was completed in 1836, and this church itself is the oldest surviving church building in Singapore, and is said to be one of the most ornate and best finished pieces of architecture in early Singapore. The church itself was designed and built by Colonial architect G.D. Coleman. The Armenian Church takes the form of an old Armenian cross. It cleverly combines the symmetry of Palladian architecture with the practical details of Eastern architecture, such as roofs and wide verandas. Its original design is considered a close resemblance to the Mother Church of St. Gregory in Bekhar Shapet in northern Armenia. The architecture incorporated many distinctive features of the traditional Armenian Church, while having features that help to withstand Singapore's tropical climate. So that was our journey around the buildings from colonial times around Fort Canning Park. I hope you enjoyed it. I surely did. I've learned a few things. I hope you did too. And as per usual, this is what you must do. Please like, share and subscribe if you haven't done so, and tell your friends and family to do the same. And the most important thing you need to do is join me for my next adventure. Until next time, bye bye.